We measure angle in degrees, right? What is 1 degree? So sometimes you can define one thing in terms of another, right? So for example, how many degrees in a circle? So if you have a circle and you go all the way around, how many degrees is that? So that's 360 degrees, right? So 1 degree would be how much? 1 over 360 of a full circle or full circular rotation, right? So radian is another way to measure angles. So let's see how that one works. And the reason we study radians is it makes things simpler for some of the more advanced stuff like calculus and other things that we learn later. That's why from calculus onwards, typically we work with radians. So let's figure out what the radian is. So if I have a circle, what is this? This is the radius, right? So let's say its radius is r. Let's say I take a string of the length of the radius and I wrap it on this circle. So I took a string that long and I wrapped it here. Right? So suppose this is also equal to radius. Now, if I make an angle from this arc, this is called an arc, right? A portion of the circle is an arc. And I see what angle it makes here at the center. This is called subtended angle. Okay. So the angle subtended by this arc, whose length is same as the radius, is this angle, right? And this is called 1 radian. And the way it's written is 1 and a C or a half circle at the top. And later we will stop writing that, but I'm just saying like 1 degree you write as 1 degree, right? And if you write this C here, half circle, that's a radian. Or if nothing is written and you're talking about an angle, then it is considered as a radian. Let's figure out the relationship between radian and a degree. Okay, so if we look at the whole circle, if you go around all the way, we know that is 360 degrees, right? So how many radians is that? Can we figure out? We know when this arc length is r, then we get 1 radian, correct? If the arc length is r, we get 1 radian. If we go around the whole circle, what is the arc length? 2 pi r, because that's the circumference, right? 2 pi r. If r gives us 1 radian, 2 pi r will give us how many radians? 2 pi radians, they're proportional, right? It's just length that we are extending, right? R gave us 1 radian, 2r will give us 2 radians, 3r will give us 3 radians, 2 pi r gives us 2 pi radians. Right? So now we have something we can compare. A whole circle is 360 degrees and also it is 2 pi radians. That means 360 degrees is same as 2 pi radians. So we can divide both by 360 to make it 1, right? So that means we're doing 2 pi over. So that is pi over 180 radian. So 1 degree is pi over 180 radian. And we can go the other way also. What is 1 radian equal to? 2 pi radian is 360 degrees. So 1 radian. This what we did was, to do that, we divided by 360, right? And here I'm going from 2 pi to 1 radian. So what can I do? How can I do that? See, anything, if you want to make it 1, you can divide by itself, right? So if I have to go from 2 pi to 1, I can divide by 2 pi. So 2 pi over 2 pi will be 1, correct? I can divide this by 2 pi. So 2 pi over 2 pi is 1 and 360 over 2 pi is on this side. So this is degrees, right? So this is, okay, so let's try some conversions. 30 degrees is how many radians? And what you know is 360 degrees is 2 pi radians. Right? So 30 degrees, how many radians? Pi over 6 is correct. Right? And if I'm trying to find 45 degrees, how many radians? So some things that you study as special angles, right? Those you have to, it helps to remember. So this is 0, 90, 180, 270, right? And this is 30, 60, 45, right? And 45 is half of that. 30 is a third of that. 60 is 2/3 of that. And this is pi, right? So this will be pi over 2. This will be, so 90 is pi over 2. 270 is 3 times that, right? 3 pi over 2, correct. Right? And this is 2 pi, 360. 0 is 0, but 360 is 2 pi, right? And this is a third of that. So 30 degrees what? 30 degrees is a third of 90. In radians, it will be 1/3 of pi over 2, right? So this will be the pi over 6. We did it right here. And then 60 is double of that. But pi over 3, right? 2 pi over 6 is pi over 3. Also, it's a third of 180. So pi and 1/3 of it. And 45 is half of 90 degrees. So this will be pi over 4, right? So some of these are the special angles. So most of the time we deal with those. So these you will become familiar with more and more, but we can ask any. So 45 is pi over 4. But if I ask something like 100 degrees, then 1 degree is that, then 100 is how much? So 1 degree is pi over 180. I want to find 100 degrees. So I need to multiply by 100 to go from 1 to 100. Then you have to do the same on the right side. So you're doing 100 times pi over 180. And then you simplify. So that goes, and 5 and 9, right? So 5 radians. So 75 degrees. 75 times over 180, right? Because 1 degree is that, so 75 has to be 75 times. And then we will simplify. So divide by 5. And then I can divide by 3. So you are correct. 5 pi over 12. If you're going from radian to degrees, we know that 2 pi is 360 degrees, right? And 1 is 360 over 2 pi degrees, or 180 over pi degrees, right? This is radian. So what is 3 radian equal to? 3 times that, because you multiply both sides by 3, then this will become 3. So 3 times 180 over pi, so 540 over pi degrees, right? Or pi over 7 radian. Pi is a number, right? 3.14159 is a number like that. But if the same number is in the numerator and denominator, you know how to do equivalent fractions, right? So for example, if I have 14 over 10, I can divide by 2, right? Divide by 2 and divide by 2. Then I get 7 over 5, correct? So here I can divide this by pi, and I can also divide this by pi. So pi divided by pi, it cancels out. 180 pi over pi is just 180, and 7 pi over pi is just 7. So it is 180 over 7 degrees. Pi is just a number. So it works like any of the other real numbers. 2 pi over 3 radians, or 2 pi over 3 times 180 over pi degrees, right? And then how do we simplify this? 3 times 2 is 120 degrees. So that 2 pi over 3 radians is 120 degrees. Those are the common special angles. And then there'll be the corresponding ones on this side, right? The mirror image of this is here, 60, 90. So this is 120, right? And there'll be 135. There'll be 150. And like that here, you can look at these from the negative side or the positive side. So 210. This is 225. And this is 240. This is 300. This is 315. This is 330. Right? If you started looking from this side, it will be negative 30, negative 45, negative 60, negative 90. These will be these are the special angles that we deal with most of the time.